What's going on, my New Orleans sports family? As always, I'm your boy O. Today will be a very different video than what I normally do on Thursdays on this channel. If you're familiar with the content, every Thursday we go over the Saints Wednesday's practice report, you know what I mean? But I have some major news regarding Michael Thomas, and I think I need to give you guys my thoughts on that, and also tell you why Brandon Ingram is so important to the New Orleans Pelicans in 2022. Now look, before we get into this video, do your boy one major favor. If you believe in getting loud and also you got to fight, then that means that we have something in common. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And as always, make sure you hit that like button to help me out with that algorithm, baby. Now, the major news regarding our New Orleans Saints is that wide receiver Michael Thomas has officially been placed on injury reserve. If you're not familiar with the process, this means that he has to miss a significant amount of time before he comes back, mainly the rest of the season. Now, I know a lot of people out there feel as if Michael Thomas doesn't want to play for the New Orleans Saints, but I'm here to tell you that may not be the case at all. He could very well be going through something with his foot, as he has been going through something with his foot for a very long time. If you don't know, Michael Thomas is the most physical wide receiver in the NFL, which is why he's so successful at what he do. You know what I mean? So a receiver like that, most of the time, will endure injuries. You know, he's not seeing much space on the field. He's mainly covered by two guys. It's hard for him to get off the line of scrimmage. He's always getting that contact, and he's always going to be injured. This is what we asked for when we drafted him. We know he's not a speedster. We know he's not a guy that's going to give you a ton of space on the field. He's a guy that's going to go up and get the ball when it's thrown to him. Now, personally, I'm the type of person, I don't like the idea of a player faking an injury, right? However, it's not up to me to say that that player is faking an injury. I'm kind of frustrated with the Saints fans out there that just feel as if Michael Thomas want to throw in the towel with the New Orleans Saints. He doesn't want to be here, but I'm here to tell you, you don't know that for certain, right? You're putting words in the guy's mouth at this very moment. You don't know how he feel. He could very well feel upset that he cannot be on the field to help his team win. Because we all know when Michael Thomas is in the Saints office for the game, I'm sorry, I tripped over the words there. We all know that the Saints are a totally different team, right? He's hard to guard on the field. He's going to get double coverage. He's going to leave people open all day, which is what made it easy for Drew Brees. And it could have possibly made it much easier for Jameis Winston when he was starting quarterback. Unfortunately, Andy Dalton would not be able to endure the presence of Andy Dalton. But this team does not need the negativity coming from those Saints fans who doesn't agree with the choices that the coaching staff is making right now with the positions at hand. You know what I mean? They cannot help the hand that they're dealt with. Only thing they can do is work with what they got, right? You got Andy Dalton. He's positive in the points, positive in the yardage, positive in completion percentages, positive pretty much in every way, right? The Saints are trying to find their groove with what they are lacking, right? No Michael Thomas, no Jarvis Landry. Sometimes you didn't have Michael Thomas out there. Things are going to be hard for any quarterback that's back there, right? The Saints injury report is getting better and better by the week. Sure, you hope Marshall Lattimore can get back out there and also Jarvis Landry. But I feel like we should not criticize Michael Thomas if he's dealing with an injury. In fact, if he's really dealing with an injury, and we got a lot of Saints fans out there thinking he's faking it, he may not want to be here no more because you don't appreciate him. Michael Thomas has brought something to the table at the wide receiver position that many wide receivers in the Saints uniform did not bring to the table, right? Get a guy time. I understand he has missed the whole season. Only got to play, like 4 games this season. He was phenomenal in those 4 games. I'm pretty sure he can't wait to come back and help his team get some W's, right? We got to turn the page. look forward to seeing Michael Thomas next year, right? Right now, let's focus on this young wide receiver group like Chris Olave and Shaheed and hope that they can shine with the opportunity that they have been presented with.
Got to get it in. It'll come into Valanciunas. Back to Ingram for the win. Yes! 0.3 of a second to play.
You saw it. You saw it from here.
Now it's time to talk about our New Orleans Pelicans. If you're anything like me, you stayed up last night and you watched the game against the Los Angeles Lakers, and you got to witness the Pelicans losing overtime 120-117. Now, I know we got 75 games left, but that Lakers game is one that you really did want, right? The Lakers right now have a miniature rivalry going on with the New Orleans Pelicans. Ever since that Anthony Davis trade, the Pelicans have something to prove, right? And you ask me, that something is Brandon Ingram. What I witnessed last night was a lack of Brandon Ingram. The Pelicans failed to generate points at key points in the game. They failed to get proper floor spacing. They didn't collapse the Los Angeles Lakers defense not one bit. And not to mention the mid-range was kind of choppy. This is what Brandon Ingram brings to the table. He's a floor general. He sees the court unlike anyone else on the Pelicans team. Sure, I know a lot of people out there are extremely excited about Zion Williamson, but you got to realize something. Zion Williamson is strictly an underneath player. Brandon Ingram gives you the all-around player that the Pelicans or the New Orleans Hornets has never had, right? Brandon Ingram, if you want to, could put him at center, power forward, small forward. You could put him at guard if you want. You could even put him at point guard. That is what makes Brandon Ingram so dangerous. That's why he's so important to the New Orleans Pelicans in 2022. This guy's ability to get the ball to his teammates and generate points is something that we have never really saw in New Orleans history. Sure, we had Chris Paul, right? We had Chris Paul, but I feel as if the athleticism that Brandon Ingram brings to the table makes it much harder for any opposing defense to guard. I'm so happy that we're going to finally get Brandon Ingram back this Friday night against the Golden State Warriors so he can literally come out and show you guys why he's important to us New Orleans Pelicans. It's a key factor here, you guys. The Pelicans, with Brandon Ingram, wins way more than they lose without Brandon Ingram. He's important, you guys. Easily your best player on the team. You better be lucky you have him. Hopefully he's well right now. Come out, dunk on some guys because we need him. These next slew of games are going to be very tough. Sure, we was able to beat the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, but as you can see, a team like the Lakers, sure, they was having problems at the beginning of the season. But there's plenty of time for these teams to get this shit together, right? And you don't need the Pelicans to start falling apart at the wrong time of the season, right? You need Brandon Ingram back on the court so we can actually win some games and this guy can prove himself and help bring New Orleans its first NBA championship, right? Hopefully, you guys watch this video all the way to the end to help your boy O out with the algorithm, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And as always, make sure you hit that like button to help me out with that algorithm, baby.